Welcome back. This is the Origin Gale playthrough. We're in the Prologue. We'll loot the Mind Flayers. Always loot the Mind Flayers. They have expensive stuff or consumables that we would like. Our Gale is going to be power hungry, and so we'll take any advantage that he can get. We're also going to be a little poorer because we're not going to have the Asterian Rogue that's super good at stealing everything. So we'll take the elevator. We're going to try and rescue this Intellect Devourer.
A little discourse.
Ordinarily with Gale, I would say you should take the medicine option, but we'll try the dexterity one here since he's all dex and strength. So we'll take option 1, and then take option 1 again. And we've got +3 here on strength, +3 on dexterity. I'll take dex. And we make it. And we're going to spare it. What this does is if you actually do the... Okay, well, so let's go with option 1. If you do the damage to it, then you can have it as a follower, but still also attack the other Intellect Devourers that are floating around. It's not worth it. So no point in that. Here we're going to wait till the newborn condition is expiring. That really makes it a lot weaker, the newborn condition. Alright, so now that it's not subjected to that anymore, we'll just run down. These imps are super easy as a fight. Lae'zel can solo it most of the time, so not having our spells isn't going to be super worrisome. I get Lae'zel to hop down, and we'll just take option 4. Option 4 takes us straight to combat. I'm just going to shoot through the interactions here. Alright, so we've got essentially 3 fighters. Gale doesn't have a very good armor class. Okay, so that's 1. We're at the top of the initiative, so we can swap them around. We'll send us over. Approach, and we'll have Lae'zel rush over, and we're going to do a rush attack.
You bow, or you break.
Maybe. Alright, come on. Not enough movement now. And this is a full action, so just bugging out. It won't matter. The fight's really, really easy, so. She'll just rush over. Alright, that's that. Let's loot the room.
You proved surprisingly adequate in battle. Now, to the helm.
So we'll respec Lae'zel to be a monk. Probably still while we're level 2. We'll have Gale be a sorcerer. And Asterian, we're going to pick up, and we'll have him be a druid, a spore druid. So they have a lot of vampiric powers. They do necrotic damage at range, they raise the dead, they even glow like the Twilight vampires, so it's really unfitting. They also shapeshift into wolves and stuff like that, so it gives them a lot of vampire powers and is sort of in keeping with the character. We'll make Shadowheart hunter, so she's a big pet lover, likes animals, so we're going to make her a Beastmaster hunter, so she'll be able to summon critters to help out in fights. Interestingly enough, she is scared of wolves, and she can be scared of her own wolf, so if you ever summon a wolf, she can actually be frightened of it, which is kind of fun. Alright, so we're killing these guys. They grant a little bit of experience, and sometimes we'll drop a candle, which is what we're really kind of hoping for here. Especially if we're doing a tactical sort of thing. Candles are super helpful. They're a big damage spike. We're going to pick up the explosives, and we'll blow up the Mind Flayer on the way out. that's going to be 75 experience, and will put us at level 2 when we hit the beach. If we were absolute purists, we're going to try to avoid just blowing people up, but there are some occasions where, especially in the early game, it's just way easier, much faster. So the intellect devours on the beach, for instance, is a more difficult and longer fight if you're trying to sneak up behind him and do damage than it is to just lure them over to the edge and blow them up. There are a couple of encounters that are like that, and they're definitely doable, but longer.
The console hums till
And we're
painless
just gonna
comfort fades.
click 1 to get through this.
Sensation washes over
Again,
you.
you can fail this check. If you do, just have Lizelle do it.
Shiver.
Alright, so last time we didn't get this conversation because Lizelle was dead, but she's going to say that the Gith are problematic.
Dangerous company.
So we'll say, you got a problem with Gith?
Or the Gith have a problem with everyone else.
They do have a problem with everyone else. And we'll introduce ourselves, and then we'll say it's time to go.
She's right.
Alright, so we can delay the action on the bridge a little bit if we are able to disarm the commander. So we'll give a shot to that. We've got a couple of casts of command from Shadowheart. We'll try to use those. If it works, it works. We're not going to actually use the Greatsword, so it's not a terrible weapon. We just don't need it. Alright, so we're running up, get our autosave, get everybody positioned, and before we go inside, we'll go to the spellbook for Shadowheart, and we'll get rid of Shield of Faith. Not going to need that right away. We'll get rid of Inflict Wounds. Not going to need that. We'll take Sanctuary, and we'll take Command. And depending on how things go, we might have to use Sanctuary or Command. If we're running into a situation where we don't think that we can get anybody to the helm, we can use Sanctuary to ensure that someone gets there. If we are trying to disarm the commander, we'll use Command. So if we're lucky, you get on the first cast. Again, if we want a whole bunch of extra movement, we can dash before we go in. So we go into turn-based mode, dash.
Like its will be done.
Wits and blades always sharp.
We can even do that on the Intellect Devourer pet. If we wanted to, by the way, since there's a restoration pod right here, we could have Shadowheart cast Sanctuary, have someone click the pot, have her cast it on both the other characters. We could just walk right across to the helm, nothing could touch us, even with all 4 of the people here. So that's always an option if that's something you want to do. And we'll take a walk in. And here we get the sort of standard cutscene where Lizelle's yelling at us. On honor mode, this guy's got 2 attacks, and he will just
This thing's
cleave right through.
got to write it.
We're going to have Shadowheart run right up and try immediately to do the disarm. If we're lucky and we get it, then this fight's going to take a lot longer because he will do a lot less damage per round. And so we did. If you don't, it's no big deal either way. And we'll have Shadowheart approach. She's not going to be able to get there this round. Alright, so with Gale here, we've got our biggest damage attack. So we got +5 for 4 to 11, +5 to 4 to 11. Same weapon, basically, the same thing. So we will take a shot at the imp. Got it. And I'm just going to head over to pick up the barrels and loot. And the reason we have all this extra movement is we dash before we open the door.
Victory awaits.
We're going to have this guy over here, us, try and run over and attack. Doesn't do enough damage though. We'll walk it forward a little bit to make it easier for Lizelle to make it up.
Ascend. On the move.
All right, and we got him too. And with Lizelle, we'll head over and pick up the last remaining explosive container. And we'll get ready to go over here and deal with this imp. Again, the fight can take less time if this happens. If the commander gets stunned again, you'll get an extra round. He doesn't always get stunned. Alright, so here we're going to run up and grab the blade. Again, for us this is just money, so no worries. We're going to disengage, and we'll head up and do a little more looting. So no worries if we don't make it, it's no big deal. We'll have Gale run up. And let's get the additional adds in the fight. We get a little cutscene and then more baddies show up. We can grab this grenade while we're here. Again, it's easier to throw them on the floor and pick them up than it is to try to run around and pick them up. And we'll loot a Mind Flayer. You can see that they're not going to have a turn, so we can continue rushing up.
Time to strike.
This imp repositioned itself over here, which is a little better for us movement-wise, so we'll run up and hit it. And we'll just keep heading towards it. And the same with us. What we don't want to do is get characters committed to the fight with Commander Zulk. We're not going to be killing him on this run. It is definitely possible to kill him on honor mode. It's totally doable. It just takes a lot longer and there's more prep work involved. We didn't do any of that. Alright, so with Shadowheart here, we have an extra spell. We could hit Gale with that and ensure that we win, which is not a terrible idea. Let's see if we can drop this in. Nope, we did do damage.
Swift and lethal. Make way.
We'll bring her up and see if we can do our rush attack this time.
You bow or you break.
There we go. And we'll loot and move a little bit.
I'm ready.
So I think if we want to be absolutely certain and we're playing safe, the thing to do here is to drop Sanctuary on Gale. Then we know for a fact that we're going to win, so let's do that.
Got to press on.
And we'll run over here and see if we can't pick up some more grenades. And you may not be able to get all of these things, right? So if the commander doesn't get stunned and you're not able to get his weapon, this fight might be over in just a couple of turns. The real deal is you want to make sure that Shadowheart is near enough to them to deposit all of the explosives and use the Fireball cantrip to ignite them on a turn where the Mind Flayer has around 40 hit points or less. And here we can just have Gale continue running up. He can't be targeted by any of these folks anymore. They'll run right past him. And we're going to place our Intellect Devourer next to this thing to either try to give it disadvantage if it's going to cast a spell like Firebolt or attack it if it tries to leave. So we're going to stand back far enough that when the adds come in, they're not going to hit us with a Firebolt, that they continue to hit the Mind Flayer, but not so far away that we're going to run out of the ability to get to them when we want to. We'll throw a Firebolt and do great on the damage. Good job, Shadowheart. With Gale, we'll run up to the transponder. We're not going to click it. And we'll see if Lizelle is capable of finishing this. There we go. And we'll do some looting. And that's it for her. And we'll just move the Intellect Devourer out of the way. So we've got another round or two. And you may not. This fight is really, really random. So these ads are going to come rolling in, and one of the reasons why we do not put explosives down before we're ready to detonate them is these ads. They'll run in and they'll cast Firebolt, and they can target you, they can target the Mind Flayer, they can target explosives that you've left on the ground. So we don't want those things going off early. We don't want them to hit us or not kill them. If they kill the Mind Flayer, we don't get experience for it, so that's all terrible. All right, and we're going to be in range of that now. And without his sword, the commander's not able to outright kill this guy quickly enough. All right, so we're going to roll down. We'll grab the explosives. Moving items between characters is free in combat. We'll open up her inventory. We're just going to place them down on the ground. So anywhere next to the Mind Flayer is fine. And you should be able to stack these things up to 3 high. All right. So we're right next to it. It doesn't matter. If Shadowheart dies on the bridge, she's fine on the beach when you meet her. So there's no worry of losing a character or anything like that. Unlike Lae'zel, if Lae'zel dies, her body will be on the beach just past Shadowheart, and if she survives, she'll have been captured by some tieflings. All right, so we're going to detonate this, and that's going to take out the Mind Flayer and give us an experience to get to 2nd level. And you can see that she is dead, completely dead, but she'll be fine when we get there. So here we are. We're going to click on the transponder now, and then we'll head to the beach in Act 1 in earnest. You can see that Us has survived. We'll be able to pick up Us again near the end of Act 2. Gale is not targetable. He's still got 6 rounds of Sanctuary, even though Shadowheart is dead. It's not a concentration spell. So we could actually spend several more turns just sort of hanging out and still be okay. Here we go. We'll click the transponder, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.